Number 1. Ambitious. They are fighter as missing. Who's next? Winners League. Right. Sup guys, it's Ranch and bringing you yet another StarCraft commentary. OGN versus Sparkyz against Woongjin Stars. Set 4. GuemChi with 3 wins. 1 win away from the fabled all-kill, but he has a pretty big roadblock in front of him in the form of the monster midget of awesome, known as Leta. So we're going to see how he manages against that. PVT coming your way here, people. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right to big old PVT. I call Leta the monster midget of awesome because that is exactly what he is, and it's going to be a pretty big challenge for GuemChi here. So this is going to be on Tau Cross. Oh, the map just being used again now. Pretty balanced map, again positions. 9 o'clock in red, we're going to have GuemChi as the protoss. At 5 o'clock in teal, we're going to have Leta as the teal terran. 3-player map, positions are 1, 5, and 9. You got your main. It's surrounded by like a huge wall, but it's a very large main, so it's susceptible to drops. Then you got a choke leading out to a natural, which is uneven ground. And out of your natural leading another choke that's also, both chokes are pretty small, so they're pretty easy to block off and to defend as well. Just behind your natural, you have a position like on a higher, much higher ground that you can drop something like, say, a tank or a Templar or something, and just rape whatever's on the ground. So there are plenty of harassment opportunities. Drop ships and shuttles will come heavily into play in this game, I believe. We're just gonna have to see what kind of builds both players go for. We're gonna go for standard. So far, at least, I'm not seeing any cheese from either player. Just gonna see standard stuff. Gateway now coming up from GuemChi, so he's just gonna go standard so far. Probably gonna get his gas soon and just transition from Gateway into Cybernetics Core into Tech. And we're gonna see what Leta goes for. Whether he goes for 2 factories or does some sort of different kind of build. Just now, I think, going for his barracks as well as his gas. So it is indeed gonna go for a quick factory, nothing else. Well, just not really quick factory, just standard factory. And scout now being sent out by GuemChi. We're gonna see whether he scouts east or south, depending on what he does. He's gonna scout him. I think he's scouting east, so he's probably going to scout Leta last, and we're going to see how Leta scouts. If he gets a Marine out there from that barracks, he should be able to block off his choke and prevent GuemChi from getting a scout in, so that could be critical. That barracks almost up now. And SCV meanwhile being sent out by Leta to scout as well, and I believe he's going to, he is indeed going to scout in the right direction. He's going to scout west. So that's going to be an advantage for him. Both players now mining gas pretty heavily, so there is that. I think the first factory is already coming up for Leta, so we're going to see whether he goes for 2 factories or does something else. That SCV is going to get inside, it's going to get the full scout going. Leta's going to know exactly what GuemChi's up to. Just now seeing the Cybernetics Core pop in, we're going to see what GuemChi goes for after that. There is a Marine now outside of the barracks, and just GuemChi's probe just now moving in, and I think that lone Marine will be enough to prevent the scout of GuemChi from going in, so there's a high chance here. We're going to see here now, probe, try move, going to be met by the Marine, instantly going to move back. So the scout is going to be prevented. We're going to see if he tries to dance around the Marine, but there are more Marines going to pop out any second, and yeah, there we go. 2 Marines there now, so GuemChi going to play blind for a little while until he gets his observatory up. I think this will really force him to, if he goes for the robotic support, it's definitely going to force him to go for observatory first, so he doesn't go out there blind. Factory with a machine shop going on, meanwhile, for Leta. We're going to see if he goes for, I don't see him going for 2 facts, though. Or else I think he would have, by that point, started building his second factory right away. So there's a Dragoon, meanwhile, inside of GuemChi's base, and that's going to kill that SCV pretty soon. Dragoon range on the way as well. Quite a few Marines, actually, blocking the ramp for Leta. So he's possibly could be expecting some sort of push early on, so he's just adding those, and of course also to prevent that scout from getting in, because right now he has the advantage of not letting GuemChi scout, and he's definitely want to keep that machine shop meanwhile spinning. I'll look forward that he goes out, and a starport meanwhile coming up, so early drop tech coming up from Leta, so we're definitely going to try to take advantage of the drop opportunities that are on this map. See whether he tries to drop a siege tank or go for vulture drops. Looking forward to all those. Meanwhile, GuemChi has been put down in a few gateways, so first one out is a tank, so that could be siege mode, or Leta could be going for a push. He has 6 Marines, SCV, and a tank, or maybe just kind of trying to get his natural going and just setting up a defensive position. I don't know yet. Observatory is meanwhile coming up for GuemChi, so he's going to be forced to build that observatory before his robotic support. Leta apparently not moving out. He might be waiting for a second tank before he tries. When he has like 6 Marines, an SCV, and a tank as well, he should be able to push out. A control tower coming up for that starport, so we are definitely going to see drop tech fairly soon. We're going to see where he drops and how. Meanwhile, those Marines and tank are moving out with another SCV and a tank just behind them. And Leta is definitely going to push in. We're going to see what kind of damage he manages to avoid. There are Dragoons there defending for GuemChi. I think he should have more popping on the way, so we're just going to have to micro pretty well. Meanwhile, has a few vultures going as well. Going to see, and apparently, oh, he has mines upgraded, so the first thing upgraded were mines, and meanwhile, he has been setting mines inside of his own base for defensive purposes. First observer, meanwhile, out for GuemChi. And he's not apparently sending that observer into the base of Leta. He's just going to use it to scout these offensive forces of his and make sure he can counter accordingly. He has 5 Dragoons inside of his natural. Is meanwhile putting down a Nexus there, so that could be pretty effective. There are mines meanwhile in the natural Leta. And now Leta going to move out the SCV first to block the first shots. Moving in with his Marines. Oh, first tank instantly goes down. That's pretty bad. There's a mine there. We're going to see what happens with a mine. Well, the mine does manage to take 1 Dragoon goes down, and a Dragoon sacrificing himself to the mine to take out a couple of Marines. Leta pretty much even here, but Leta only has 1 tank, has a vulture. Vulture instantly goes down, does manage to plant a mine, which isn't going to get taken out. The Marines are dying here, and the Dragoons, the 3 Dragoons left, 2 Dragoons now left. The Marine dies, and I think those Dragoons with their range especially are definitely going to foil that tank and make it push back. Meanwhile, there is a dropship meanwhile moving in for Leta. Was going to see if he goes for a backside drop. What he goes for, he could be pretty damaging, but nope, this apparently is being read pretty well by GuemChi. There are vultures going to come in, but he has an observer there, and he's moving his Dragoons down, so he's going to be intercept this drop pretty well. And this tank meanwhile being pushed outside as well. The Dragoon, that vulture, I'm sorry, being dropped. He has speed and mines as well. Definitely going to plant a few mines. And Leta meanwhile picking up a tank, so he's going to go for another drop, possibly inside the natural. His mine's being taken down. The vulture should be cleaned up pretty much. Ooh, man. A mine could have caught a Dragoon and could have killed a bunch of those probes. The final vulture inside finally dying, although I think he did manage to get a couple of probe kills. The dropship now moving in from the north. We're going to see what he managed with that. I think he's exactly going to go for that large open position on the top there and try to siege from there. It's a pretty good position for a siege tank to be on. It's a pretty defensive position. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to set his tank, and he's going to siege it up there and just completely massacre this probe line there. Siege now going, and 1 shot going off. 3 kills right away for that tank. 4 kills. Actually, I think there are actually only 2. I think he already had kills on some of those Dragoons, so never mind. Vultures meanwhile moving in again from the front, planting out mines while they can, and killing off a few probes. Meanwhile, the other probes from the natural being forced back here. I think those vultures did manage to get 3 to 4 probes before it did manage to take out. And that tank's still up there, still showing. A couple of Dragoons are going to be dropped on him though, and should be able to clean him up now. Tank is definitely going to go down. Just, you know, a good sacrifice. The dropship went away, but prevented the economy from being too strong. Meanwhile, a Reaver out now for GuemChi, so we're going to see if he goes for a drop of his own. 3 factories now coming up for Leta, and at the front he's blocking off. He's natural, has his barracks there, has a couple of siege tanks, also putting up an engineering bay. And meanwhile, GuemChi apparently going for a counterattack. He's just gonna full-on push at the front. He has, I think, 7 or 8 Dragoons there, all range upgraded, of course. We're gonna see what he manages to accomplish. There is a Rake meanwhile coming up for Leta. That's gonna be very interesting. That's definitely not gonna help him at all against those Dragoons, although I don't know, but maybe the vulture is actually for spotting purposes, although I highly doubt that's what it is. Now the Dragoon's finally moving in. That Wraith, however, is gonna possibly take out that shuttle. The Wraith is countering the shuttle. The shuttle does, I think, go down, but the Reaver is down there and does damage a lot. The tanks did go down, and now the Reaver's just gonna